students, in this video tutorial you will be learning about the next session, the next class for your vectors. So in the previous session already we have discussed about different types of vectors, isn't it? What are the features of vector? What do you mean by a vector? Right. In this session you will be learning about plasmid. So in vectors, whenever you are going to insert your gene of interest of a very small size DNA molecule, then plasmid is used as a vector in order to carry your gene of interest to the host organism, in order to produce more number of copies of your target DNA molecule, right? So here we will be learning about plasmids and its features, its characteristics to be as a vector, right? So as we all know, plasmids are generally extra chromosomal DNA that are present in your bacteria, isn't it? So this, then you will isolate this particular extra chromosomal DNA and you will insert your gene of interest and you will leave your host organism. You will insert this particular vector DNA and your gene of interest, that is nothing but your chimeric DNA or your rDNA molecule. You will leave it for several generations. Once it is introduced for cloning purpose in the host organism, that is nothing but your E. coli, isn't it? So in this session you will be learning about different characteristics, different criteria that will make your plasmid as a vector DNA molecule. It is how it is used as a vector molecule, right? So in genetic engineering experiments, up to here, the first foremost genetically engineered vector is your PBr322. Okay, so PBr322 is an artificial plasmid that is used for inserting your gene of interest into the host organism, isn't it? So this is prepared from vector. This is prepared from a bacterial plasmid. And as I said earlier in your previous session, there are three important features that a vector should obey to be a vector. That a vector for a bacterial plasmid, for your DNA molecule, if it should be act as a vector, it should have all the three properties. So initially it must have self-replicating property. That is your origin of ORIC site, presence of ORIC site, which is used for self-replication, isn't it? So this is for self-replication. This should be maintained in your vector. So the same thing should be maintained with your PBr322 also. Next is your presence of multiple cloning sites, right? Or multiple restriction sites. Multiple cloning sites or multiple restriction sites. Next is selectable marker, isn't it? So these are the three foremost important features that a vector should possess, isn't it? So in the preparation of PBr322, so this is prepared from a bacterial plasmid. Other than your bacterial plasmid, plasmids are short sequence DNA molecules which are having capability to carry your gene of interest of a very small size DNA molecule. It will carry around 5 to 10 kb molecule. Okay, so these plasmids, they are having the strength to carry a gene of interest of around 5 to 10 kilobase. So from using your plasmid as a vector from your bacteria, you are preparing, several scientists have prepared PBr322. This is an artificial vector, genetically engineered, genetically modified plasmid vector. Okay, so this PBr322 indicates P for plasmid, okay, B for Bolivar and R for Rodriguez. Okay, in the year 1977, they have genetically engineered and prepared this particular artificial plasmid in order to carry your gene of interest to your E. coli host organism to produce more number of copies of your gene of interest, target DNA molecule. isn't it? Now, in detail, and one more thing, if your plasmid is having a capacity to produce more copy number, then it is known as high copy number plasmid. If the plasmid is having, it will produce less copy number, then it is known as low copy number. And coming to the different features of your plasmid PBr322, as this is your artificial plasmid, this is prepared, genetically engineered. So according to the mode of interest, according to the type of your reaction, you are preparing your this thing. You have prepared this particular plasmid vector. So this PBr322, as I said earlier, this was first introduced. This denotes your P carries your plasmid, B for polymer, R for reduce. In the year 1977, they have prepared this vector. So coming to the general features of this particular vector, as I said earlier, our vector should possess all the criteria. The same thing should be maintained with your PBr322 also. PBr322 is an artificial plasmid and it should obey ORIC site. It should possess origin of replication, self-replicating activity. So this is your ORIC site. So PBr322 is having origin of replication site obtained, isolated from your bacteria. Obviously this plasmid is prepared from a bacteria. And coming to the second step, multiple cloning sites or multiple restriction sites. Multiple restriction site is this particular plasmid, that is your PBr322, is having more number of restriction endonucleases, sites to be cleaved with more number of restriction endonucleases. So here this particular PBr322 is having restriction site for BAMH1, SARH1, EcoR1 and PS1, and more than all these four, not more than these four restriction enzymes, more than 12 restriction, around 12 restriction sites are present in your PBr322. Like your BAMH1, S1, SAR1, EcoR1, PS1, PUV1 and HIND3, all those around 12 restriction sites are present with your PBr322. And coming to the second step, your third point, that is selectable markers. There are totally two resistant antibiotic resistance markers are present in your PBr322. That is your tetracycline resistance and amplicin resistance. So while coming into the session, coming to the working of your why this particular PBr322 is mentioned, is tagged with as an ideal vector used in your genetic engineering purpose. So PBr322 is known as ideal vector. Why it is known as ideal vector? Why? Because as I said earlier, it is having ORIC site, that is self-replication activity. So whenever it is introduced, whenever this particular PBr322 is inserted with a gene of interest, this will carry a gene of interest and this can easily get self-replicated in your bacteria. So this is having this property, that is self-replication ORIC site. Next, coming to the second point, that is multiple restriction site. As I said earlier, there are around 12 restriction enzyme sequences are present with your PBr322. So this PBr322 can cleave by 12 different restriction endonucleases and your gene of interest can easily be cleaved with multiple restriction endonucleases and this can be easily inserted in your PBr322. Isn't it? So as I said, 12 restriction sites are present. So easily your restriction enzymes can cleave your plasmid DNA molecule anywhere and it can easily insert your gene of interest in this particular PBr322. Right? So next is your selectable marker. Coming to your selectable marker, why this is used? So this selectable marker is used because whenever you have inserted your gene of interest in this particular PBr322, it should be observed for your cloning purpose. How you will observe? What kind of this vector has taken the gene of interest? For instance, as I said earlier in your previous sessions, if this is your reaction mixture, if you have added your vector DNA, that is your PBr322 plus your gene of interest, so whenever they have added in this reaction mixture, there may be chances of three types of three different types of reactions may be observed. In the first reaction, only your vector DNA may circularize upon itself without addition of a gene of interest or your target DNA molecule. So only vector will recirculate, and this kind of reaction may occur. Means only your vector is, so this is your open free element vector, and this can recirculate. In this reaction mixture you will be adding ligase enzyme also, isn't it? So due to this gap, this particular vector may self recirculate upon itself. These two free ends can pair up with each other, and only vector is paired. So in the reverse reaction mixture only vector is paired. So no gene of interest is present. So only vector. In the second reaction, vector DNA plus your gene of interest may not take place. So vector DNA plus other than gene of interest may occur. So in the reaction mixture, vector DNA plus other than gene of interest, somewhat other DNA insert may ligate, and in the second reaction this may occur, and in the third step vector DNA plus your gene of interest may ligate upon itself, isn't it? So there are three chances of reactions may take place. In the first reaction only vector DNA without insertion of any gene of interest or any other DNA molecule, and in the second reaction vector DNA plus other than gene of interest may get paired up, and in the third reaction mixture vector DNA may get paired up with your gene of interest. So these are the three different possibilities may occur whenever you are adding your vector DNA plus your gene of interest with a ligase enzyme in a reaction. So how you will select all these three qualities? So these three you need to select this particular rDNA molecule. In the third case itself you are obtaining your rDNA molecule, isn't it? So how you will select all these three reactions? So for that purpose selectable markers amplicin and tetracycline are present. In the first case, listen carefully, in the first case when vector, this particular vector is subjected for plating with amplicin and tetracycline, then this particular vector will show growth in both amplicin and tetracycline because this vector is having free end. Okay, so what happened? Free ends are present. So because of presence of free ends, no DNA insert is added at your. This is your amplicin, this is your tetracycline, isn't it? No insert is added here. So this is free. No other DNA molecule is inserted in this particular place. That is your amplicin and your tetracycline. So because of absence of any DNA insert in this place, this is open end. So growth will be observed in your amplicin and your resistance in your tetracycline. Next thing, coming to your vector DNA plus other than vector DNA molecule, here growth may not observe. Why? Because your DNA insert may go and sit on the tetracycline or as an amplicin, depending upon the DNA insert that it has been paired up. So resistance may show in the opposite direction. Next, coming to your vector DNA with your gene of interest in the third case, then what happened here? Your vector DNA is paired up with your gene of interest. Then, if your gene of interest is placed in your tetracycline as this is having restriction site for BAM HMS1, right? So here when a cut is obtained, then your DNA insert will go and sit here. Then, because of placing your DNA gene of interest on the tetracycline, when this plasmid is grown in both your amplicin and your tetracycline plates, then no growth is observed in your tetracycline and growth resistance is observed in your amplicin. Why? Because DNA insert is placed in your tetracycline. If your DNA insert is placed in your amplicin, growth is observed in tetracycline but not in your amplicin. So this is the major, genetical feature what it is observed with your PBr322 because of placing of selectable markers. In the first case, no growth is observed. Why? Because both of them are free and both of your amplicin and tetracycline is left free because no DNA insert is placed in your first case. Hence, this vector is not resistant for amplicin and tetracycline. So this no growth is observed. In the second case, placing of the DNA molecule, placing of the gene of interest will clarify whether it shows growth on your amplicin or also on your tetracycline. In the third case, Same thing, placing of your DNA molecule, DNA insert on your tetracycline and amplicin. So this particular rDNA molecule should be easily identified and taken for your growth, isn't it? So this is how selectable marker property is applied with your PBR322. So these three are the important points that the PBR322 should obey for your cloning purpose in your genetic engineering experiments. Thank you.